Hello and welcome to Dating Across the Aisle with Jyl and Pete.
Hello.
So, this is our 4th episode. We're super excited about the feedback that we've been getting. We know that you guys have questions. We know that you guys have issues with things that we're saying. That's fine. Just leave us a comment.
Absolutely.
Or let us know if you want to come on the show. We'll be happy to host you.
Yeah, we love different opinions, different views, and we're willing to talk about it.
Yeah. So, week date update. It's been a week. Do you have any good date stories for us this week, Pete?
I don't know if it's good, but it's funny. So I came across a profile and this lovely young lady, and I don't remember the majority of what she said in her bio, but I remember the last part. It had a check mark and it said verified crazy. And at this point, I was like, say less. So I messaged her and just playing around, seeing if it would actually work. And so I messaged her and said, verified crazy? I'm all in. And that was all I said. And I got a reply. It was so funny. But then I kind of let the cat out of the bag and I said, well, I'm kind of on here getting content for this podcast. And she blocked me. Yeah.
Well,
Do you have any?
no.
No.
After that last date that I talked about last time, I'm out on online dating.
Yeah, I shut it down too. I think that was my last little.
I mean, we had already known that online dating is trash. We just needed to see.
If it still was.
We just needed to verify that it was still trash, and it is.
Verified.
Verified.
Still is.
Trash.
Yeah.
So, how about a new dating challenge?
I don't like the sound of whatever you're thinking of.
Why?
That sounds almost like a dare than a challenge.
No, it's a different way to try to meet people. So if we
Okay.
can't go on an online dating site, how are we supposed to meet people?
Go drinking?
Well, what if you don't want to meet people at a bar? Is that who you want to meet? You want to meet someone that hangs out at a bar?
Go to church.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways. Sporting events, bars, which, I mean, you don't find the best crowd, I guess, at bars either. Church.
They're all married. Okay. Maybe.
I don't know. Where else out in the wild are you going to meet people?
So
What do you have in mind?
this is the challenge. You have to go out somewhere. Doesn't matter. The grocery store, Home Depot, Lowe's, that's where I'm going to hang out. And you have to get somebody's number out in the wild.
Home Depot and Lowe's. I'm always at Home Depot and Lowe's. I don't see many women there.
I know, that's why I'm going to go there.
That's definitely not a spot for me. Maybe the grocery store?
Maybe.
Now, is that kind of putting people in a box, saying women hang out at grocery stores and men hang out at
No.
hardware stores?
Well, I keep hearing that people meet people at grocery stores, but no one's ever talked to me in a grocery store. Also, I was at a grocery store with my girls in the last couple weeks, and I saw the hottest guy I've ever seen there. And I said to my girls, I was like, I'm going to go talk to him. And they were like, no, don't embarrass us. Like, this is horrible. And I was like, I'm never going to see him again. Like, I just want to tell him that I think he's good looking.
You should have.
And I didn't because my girls were freaked out. I'm never going to see that
They
dude again.
cock blocked you.
They did.
Bad.
Kids.
Well, usually when I'm at Home Depot, Lowe's, or grocery stores or whatever, I'll go in, make a straight beeline to whatever I need, and
Candy aisle.
well, in the grocery store, yes. I got a bad sweet tooth. It's terrible. Home Depot, Lowe's, I already know where everything is because, I've been there once or twice. So I just go straight to what I need, get it, and go pay, and I'm gone. Now that kind of scares me.
Does it?
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I do think that it can be iffy going up to somebody in real life because you can scare women. I know your personality. I don't think you would scare anyone.
No, I don't think I'm going to scare anybody, but I have an issue with it feels a little devious. Is that the word? Deceptive?
Well, you have to actually want to call them.
Well, I don't. That's the problem.
Just don't want to date anyone.
See, that's the part I'm afraid of.
Oh.
Dating somebody. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute. Yeah, I've been single for a hot minute.
You should look into your inward about that. Ask yourself why.
Well, I thought about that the other day and I was like, what is the common denominator in all of my relationships? Couldn't find one. Yeah. So maybe I might be the problem. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, so funny story. Pete and I were out at dinner talking about some content for the show. And we had a waitress that we met and we were laughing about something.
Oh, she was cute as a button.
So cute.
Yeah.
And we really didn't know how old she was. I thought she was in her 30s.
I thought so too. Early to mid 30s is what I thought.
And we were laughing, and she was like, "What are you guys laughing about?" And Pete's like, "Oh, well, we host this podcast, and we were looking at this online dating profile, and we were just laughing." And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a dating coach."
She said something about love.
Yeah,
I'm
like-
a love and life and dating coach.
Yeah. And we were like, "What?" We're like, "Do you want to come on the show?"
And then I asked how old she was. And she said she was 25? 25. I was like, oh
And then
my
we were
goodness.
like-
I got kids your age. I could be your dad.
Yeah. And then we were like, "What do you know at 25 coaching people?"
What kind of life experience or dating experience do you have to be giving advice at 25? I mean, I don't know.
I don't either, but we want to talk to her.
We're going to bring her on here.
We want to talk to her because we want to get some younger perspective
And
too.
we asked her for her number, and she didn't give it to me.
She gave it to me.
Yeah, you got it, some digits.
See, it's not that hard. Oh, boy. Well, this is our 4th episode. And when we wrapped up our 3rd episode, we had to kind of end it abruptly. And there were still quite a few things that we wanted to talk about. Obviously, there's like a lot of things to talk about around divorce. And we had touched on some things. But first, we ended talking about like some reasons that, because we were trying to give perspective on why you should stay in a marriage, but then there are reasons that you should leave. We said that one of them was cheating, and then we were talking about abuse and what that looks like. And so I wanted to also say that I didn't get to say this, but I wanted to add something to it, which is that I also think that addiction is another reason that could possibly be a reason why you wouldn't
Like
stay.
alcoholism or drug abuse or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that you shouldn't support somebody that has an addiction, but I do think that there comes a time when the person that has the addiction, if they don't want to get help, you're never, ever going to be prioritized over that addiction.
Right. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to help themselves first.
Yeah. And so, you could be signing up for just a world of heartache around that. I guess it's up to you if it's worth it, but...
Counseling helps.
All right. So there's an interesting statistic, and maybe this is well known and I just didn't know it, but Pete brought it to my attention that 70 to 80% of divorces that get filed are by women.
Initiated by women. Yes.
Initiated by women, which is a huge amount. Also, that statistic goes up to 90% if you're college educated.
Yes. The smarter you are and the more money you make as a female, the more you want to file for divorce is what it sounds like.
Yeah. So these are stats and research from the American Sociological Association. I was researching about what the pattern was around this and like why so many women are doing this. And so I wanted to chat a little bit about that. If you think that you've been offended by either one of us before, this is probably where you will be. So the first reason that women do this is because of unequal emotional labor. Now, I'm going to talk first and then you can talk.
Okay.
Women often bear the bulk of household management, child rearing, and emotional support, even when both partners work. Over time, this imbalance can create resentment and burnout.
I have something to add about that, what was the thing you said about child
Rearing.
Child rearing. And this is just my opinion and my experience is I have 2 baby mamas and they both thought that they were professionals in child rearing. Yes. And so anytime I tried to do anything, I mean, simple as taking my daughter a bath, I was always doing it wrong. So I was like, you know what? I'll step out and do it. And then so they just started doing it all the time because everything I did, whether it be feeding them, changing the diaper, this, that, or the other, I was always doing it wrong. So it's like, okay. I mean, I didn't know that there was a wrong way to bathe a child, but apparently I did it wrong every time. And so I think that contributes to that issue anyway. As far as the labor around the house, I mean, I believe the guys, well, I am a little more traditional. So the heavy lifting and the dirty jobs are more of what I used to deal with. And though they don't come around as often as the lighter labor, but it's more frequent, I think it evens out. But since you're not doing it every day, that's where it may look like one does more of the work than the other.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this gets to be a little iffy because if both people are working, then both people have to be helping with the kids. And the thing is like, I know you pretty well. Like, Pete is not lazy, but I do think that there are a lot of men out there. And maybe this is a good way to look, like women start looking inwardly and being like, are we nagging them to death because they're not doing things the way that we want? And we're just making it to the point where they're just like, fine, I'll just do nothing, like you were saying. I think that is a good insight and something to look at yourself and say, I need to be happy with what he's contributing.
We've had kind of touched on it, off camera about the people that want to have like 50-50 split all the labor in the house and outside the house, whatever it may be. But how do you split, like, if you and your partner are in bed already and you hear a bump in the night or something, do you take turns going down there? If you like literally want it to be equal and want it 50-50, or does the guy do it? Because I know in my relationships, because I want to be more traditional and I tend to look for somebody that's more traditional, I know that's automatically my job. Or if you are walking down the street, do you take turns on who walks closer to the vehicles? I mean, God forbid that you get robbed or something. Who stands in front and who stands in back? Do you take turns doing that as well? I know it may not happen ever, but when it does, usually the guy is willing to lay his life down for his woman. Is a woman prepared to do that for a man if she wants truly 50-50?
Obviously, I don't have an answer for that. I mean,
Just something to think about.
It's not something instinctual for me that I would do that.
And for me, it is. It's automatic. There's not even thinking about it.
I understand that. I think that what we're seeing a lot of now and what has made women go on this trend of filing for so many of these divorces is just taking the brunt of all this work and then the guy also not handling his business on the men's work. Right? Not mowing the lawn, not taking care of the stuff, taking out the trash, whatever. And then it goes so long that she's like, can you please do this? Can you please do this? And then she just ends up mowing the lawn.
No, I got a question on that because, yes, there are plenty of guys out there that are lazy and they don't like doing it or they just don't want to. But my question would be, is it because he's not doing it at all, or is he just not doing it on the timeline that you want it to be done? Like you're saying you have to keep asking him, keep asking him. Do women say, hey, I would like the grass cut every week on Sunday or every other week on Saturday? Or do you say, hey, can you cut the grass? And you don't give him more details on your wants and needs. And he's supposed to read minds.
I mean, I think that that's a good point. And I think as women, obviously I don't have anyone to mow my lawn. That'd be amazing.
You should get one of those.
I think that as women, you have to really look at what that looks like in your relationship and say, am I communicating clearly what I want here? Am I yelling about it? Like, why didn't you cut the grass? Like whatever. Because also he's not going to want to do it if you talk to him.
No, that's not a good way to get him to respond. Right. And another thing I got to say is it's not going to work if each party does not value what the other one is doing or what the other one brings to the table. As far as, and one of the big things that, like I just was mentioning is like, most men are willing to lay down their life for their woman. That's a big, big thing that a man would bring to a relationship that I feel is undervalued. I think it covers a lot though, as far as, because most women would not be willing to do that. So if you had to stack that on one side, what a guy brings, what would be the equivalent on the other side that a woman brings?
I mean, obviously, we've talked about this a lot about, different things that men and women naturally are able to do. I mean, I think that women are naturally better nurturers. I think that they're good with the kids, they're good with people. And look, this does not come naturally to every woman. I understand, like, don't come after me about this. Like, I got it. I know that some people do not have instinctually, like, really nurturing characteristics, but for the most part, women, there's a reason that you teach your kids when they're young to say, like, if you get lost or something, like, look for a mom. right? Go find a mom and she'll help you. Because instinctually, kids will come to you and they'll feel comfortable with you.
Are you speaking like a child that's lost in a store or something, or
Yeah,
your
yeah,
own
yeah.
kids? Or I'm
Either I used to teach my kids that, and I think that that's sort of a universal thing that people teach their kids, that if something happens, then go
I tell,
find a mom.
yeah, no, I tell my kids, find me.
Well, obviously, but if they're lost and they're scared and they can't find you, who do you want them to go to? The creepy old man? No, you
Why
don't.
does it have to be a creepy old man? Man. But yes, okay.
So that's
As children, yes. But it's like find an adult. But yes. Why is that? Because they're nurturers? Because they're caregivers?
I mean, I think
They're
so.
softer?
Yes, yeah, for sure. And I think another thing that women bring is I think that we're really good at multitasking and being able to organize a lot of things. I know, like, I had 4 kids that under 8 years old, and dealing with doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, school projects, choir concerts, soccer games, basketball games. Like, we just had so many things, and I never missed anything, and I was never late to anything, and I participated in as much as I could. And I dealt with my husband at the time, making sure that he was always in the know of where to be and when to be there. And
I'm sure your kids will never forget that, though, that you were always at their school events or appointments or whatever. I am the same way. My mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I can remember she never missed anything, whether it be just school assemblies because I'm getting perfect attendance. Okay, I went to school every day. Whether it be sporting events, I always knew that my parents were going to be there. If it was a school thing or a doctor's appointment, I knew my mom was always going to be there. And so that's something I'll never forget. My mom was always there for me.
And I know it's been harder for my youngest daughter because she was 13 when her dad passed away. And that changed everything for me with working, and like I couldn't be as involved. And so she maybe got a little slighted compared to the other kids, but my older kids seem grateful for it. Okay. The second reason is that women are filing for divorce at this rate is that there's rising expectations of marriage. As societal norms shift, women expect more emotional intimacy, communication, and partnership from marriage. If those expectations aren't met, they're more likely to leave than they were in the past. Pete often says that he was born 150 years too late. It's probably true.
Well, because I'm more traditional, I am, but I also I hunt, I fish. I feel like you throw me out in the mountains and I would be able to survive and I'd just be fine. So that's kind of why I say that. It's because it's hard, not hard, but I find it a little bit more challenging to navigate life in modern times. I think I'm better suited for 150 years ago.
Yeah, I think that this is an interesting topic because you and I have chatted a bit about this, about women wanting this emotional intimacy, and we touched on it briefly in our last episode about men not sharing their vulnerability with women. I think women are like yearning for that and to feel closer to their partner. What I didn't know is that there's an overwhelming amount of men that say that this ends up getting thrown back in their face or used against them in some way. And I mean, if that's
Right.
true, which I'm guessing it is because a lot of people are talking about it and a lot of men are saying this, like, women, like, we gotta do better with that.
Well, a lot of the times, and I'm speaking from my personal experiences, it happens I'm not going to say we, I'm going to say I was taught I can't be emotional and bear my feelings and tell everything that's wrong, because every time I did, it was brought up later in different discussions, disagreements, arguments. It was used against me. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I told you that in one of my weakest times and I'm getting it thrown back in my face. Never again will I do that. Never again. And I feel like there's a lot of guys out there that feel the same way.
That's horrible. I hate it. But if you're doing it, you should stop. Okay, the next one is because women have increased financial independence.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Many women today are more financially independent than previous generations, reducing the economic pressure to stay in unsatisfying or unequal marriages.
I think that goes a little bit to what we were talking about before, where as a man, I would date a female that makes less money, that has a lesser social status or whatever it may be, where a lot of people say that's dating down, which I don't. But I feel like women want somebody on their level or better, dating up, I guess, so to speak. They want somebody that's taller than them. They want somebody that's making more money than them. They want somebody that's more confident, more assertive, more ambitious than them. If you're looking for that, you're cutting out a lot of people that could be good potential partners for you. And because, I mean, it's like, and that's one of the things that we're talking about now with this political differences. All right, if you don't date somebody from the opposite political view, then you're cutting out 50% of your options. And then now, if you are a high earning female, say you make $100,000, now you're cutting out, because I think, what do they say? 17% of men make 100,000 a year. So now you're reducing that to 17%. And of those 17% now, how many of those are married? Maybe half of them. So now what's that, like 8.5%? And then you keep on going. Some of them are gay. Okay, you're cutting it down more. So the more that you're asking for, the less options you have.
Yeah, you start looking for a needle in a haystack at that point.
Yes.
Which I think at our age is, we're like, well, I'm going to be picky and I'm going to get what I want this time. And I don't know. I mean, I
You're
guess
setting yourself up for
being alone.
with cats. I mean, or unless
Yeah.
you prefer dogs. But I'm not gonna say anything. Everybody, that's another thing. Okay, I'm gonna say on dating apps, everybody. No, okay, don't come at me. I like animals. I had animals all growing up. We had racehorses. We had horses. We had cows. We owned cows. I mean, we owned everything. We butchered our own animals. So I mean, animals. We always had dogs and stuff like that. So it's not that I don't like animals. It's just everybody has an animal, and they always want it inside on their lap or whatnot.
Sleeping in their bed.
That's so bad. I can't do it.
Nope, don't come after us. We know you love your dogs. Okay, the next one is having a lower tolerance for traditional gender roles. As gender norms evolve, some women become less willing to accept marriages where roles are rigid or patriarchal, especially if they feel that their personal growth is stifled.
But I want to go back, and the females that say that, I'd like to speak to them. It's like, okay, so you do hear a bump in the night with your partner. Are you going to be running downstairs to check it out and go and meet this intruder if it happens to be one? Are you going to be taking that heavy ass ladder to the backyard, setting it up against the roof and cleaning out the gutters? Are you going to be replacing that hot water heater? And a lot of them would probably say, well, I'm going to make my own money. I make my own money so I can pay a guy to do it. They still need a man. Whatever you say about it, who does that in that 50-50 relationship that you want, that these women want? I think that may be a conversation to have early on in a relationship. Is like the number one cause of disappointment is expectations. So what expectations the other side has. I guess that could help in that area.
For sure. Right away, if a guy's like, I'm looking for a traditional person, whatever, and you don't want that kind of role, then obviously you're going to know that you're probably not going to be a very good match.
Is there any compromise on that?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, from me, I'm only going to talk for myself.
Okay. Because I hear a lot that this is the way I am, you have to accept me. And I'm not just saying females, I'm saying there are males that say that too. As we get older, we get stuck in our ways, and it's like, you're going to have to accept me the way I am. And I believe that is a bad road to go down, to say that you won't compromise, because relationships is a lot about compromising with your partner.
100%. Let's go to access to support and resources. Women are now more likely to have access to mental health services, social support, and legal information, making it more feasible to navigate a divorce.
And it doesn't help that the laws, and I'm getting so much trouble, the laws incentivize to a point divorce. A lot of people say, yeah, okay, we're not back in the 1950s. Okay, well, we need to update some of the laws then that were aimed towards helping those females that back in the 1950s, 20s, whatever you want to call it. There were a lot more stay-at-home wives and that didn't have a career to fall back on if there was cheating, where they wanted to leave the marriage and they couldn't. So I think nowadays the laws need to catch up to the times, where now it's 25, men and women work, men and women both make their money. So why are the laws still favoring women in like family courts?
So hear us out, women. I know you want to fight about this. And I've done a lot of looking into this, and it is because look, Pete and I were going back and forth about this because obviously I got divorced. I was a stay-at-home mom. My husband had the career, my husband had the money, and he had to pay me, and it was a lot. What did you ask me? I think it was yesterday. You said, "Why did you take all that money? Why did you need that much money?"
Right. Because like she said, it was quite a bit amount of money. He made good money. And so I was like, you didn't have to take all that, even though the laws are what they are. And that was your response is like, I didn't take anything. It was just given. It's like, yeah, but you're like, you don't need that much money to raise that many children, as well as you went back to work. So one of the things I was saying to you is like, you could have went, you know what? I don't need that much. You could have also used the
But
phrase
then,
that you're a
does
strong,
he need
independent
that
woman.
much?
What's that?
Does he need that much then?
No, but he made that much.
Yeah, and how did he get there?
Why does he get punished for making so much money?
How did he get there?
It was a team effort
Yeah,
that you decided to leave.
he decided to leave.
You left
Oh,
the team.
no, 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 no,
You didn't?
no.
Okay.
It
Help me understand.
it was basically mutual, but I did not want to get divorced, and I don't like talking about him because he's not alive to
Right.
defend himself, so it feels a little ugly. But yeah, he was having an affair for 10 years of my marriage.
That's a good reason to leave a marriage, right?
Yeah, I had no idea, no clue.
Right. Okay. So
And
that is a good and valid reason to get divorced. But it's still whatever reason there was for divorce, it doesn't take that much to raise kids.
I mean, I had a lot of kids,
Had a lot of money coming too.
but I felt like I earned that money. I put him through school. I put him through law school. I helped him build his career.
Correct. You know what? The value of a good woman is immeasurable because guys can go out there with a woman that stays at home and takes care of everything. He can focus and concentrate just on being that provider that is needed for the family. And so if you do have that type of support system and a great woman at home, it's a lot easier to make more money. So yes, it did take both of you. I agree to that.
So I felt like some of his income was mine. And so I don't know.
Okay.
You and I don't really agree about this.
Well,
But it's okay.
the reason I do is because I went through a divorce as well, but mine was the opposite, where she stepped out of she cheated, and she filed for divorce on me, and still took me for everything I had, to the point where I could not support two households because it was a long court battle, you could say, for custody because she didn't want to give me any time with my kids. And so it drug out for nearly 2 years in court. And yeah, that's a long time where you have to maintain the status quo. And so she was a stay-at-home mom. And so I'm paying for her house, her phone, all the utilities, everything the kids need. And I still have to find a place to do that for myself. And so after, 6 months go by and I'm like, man, I'm drowning. And I ended up actually living out of my vehicle because I could not sustain two households. And so finally, basically, I just, waved the white flag. All right, I just want this to be done because I can't do it anymore. So I guess I kind of am a little biased because of the way things went with mine.
Sure.
Yeah. And I still had to pay her. They called it spousal support. I guess that's alimony.
Maintenance is what they call it now.
Oh, okay. Maintenance and child supports. And I just wanted it done, but I gave up a lot.
I understand. Look, I am not saying that I do think that divorce can financially devastate you. Another reason that you should look into this before you jump into a divorce for irreconcilable differences.
Right. So one of the things I think because we were talking about this and what's on my mind is like, okay, it's 2025 and everybody agrees men and women can both get jobs and make their own money. And they both can make adult decisions on if they want to get married or not. So why don't the laws catch up?
Yeah, and I would have fought you about this a year ago. Over all this time that we've been looking at it, and I, I've looked at what a bunch of men say about it, and I do think that it it is kind of crazy how the women get, well, 97% of women get alimony.
And child support. So
child
yeah,
support.
child support and alimony, 97% is paid from men to women.
And a lot of times these payments are financially devastating to these men.
Some are homeless.
And
Well, another reason I say that women are sometimes incentivized for divorce is there's a lot of government programs that help women that can't take care of or afford their children, and there's not really a lot for men. If men can't pay child support, they go to jail. If women can't afford their kids, there's food stamps and cash assistance and government housing. What do they call it? Section 8 or something like
men
that.
can't get that?
No.
Why?
If they can't afford the child support, what happens?
Okay, so I'm just trying to get a picture here. Like, is this because the men are making more money that they don't qualify for the programs?
No, because there's a lot of times that, well, yeah, most of the time, if you are paying child support, it's because you make money. I mean, I think the threshold is pretty low on how much you have to make to not qualify. I mean, I don't know what it is. I have to look it up, but it's not like $60, $70, $80,000. It's a lot less than that.
It's very low.
And so if you're paying child support and also trying to pay for yourself to have a house to live and all this, and also when you get the kids, you also have to pay for all the stuff that happens when you have the kids. So a lot of times fathers can't financially make that happen. And so if they can't pay, because a lot of times they just come straight out of their damn check. And so end up homeless or whatever and then lose their job. And when they can't pay child support, that's jail time.
Yeah. What about deadbeat dads?
There's a lot of those. And they give people like me a bad name, and I don't like it. Don't like them.
Yeah, there's a lot of women out there that have become single moms, either because they left or because their dude took off or whatever and left them with holding the bag.
What about deadbeat moms?
Yeah. Deadbeat moms, I don't understand. But I certainly know what happens.
Right.
I know I've heard a lot of people talk about, like, I was raised by my dad because my mom left.
Now, one of the reasons I say that is I want to get your opinion on this. Do you think it's a deadbeat mom if the dad is, okay, he may not have been a great partner, not a great husband, but he's still a good dad. And the mom does everything she can to use the kids against him or give him as little parenting time as possible? I would think that's a deadbeat mom. What would you say about that?
Look, I have strong feelings about this, which is that you picked the guy to become the father of your children. Okay.
Correct. Just like a guy picks the mom.
Correct. And just because you end up not liking him does not automatically make him a bad dad. Using your kids against somebody because you don't like them anymore is a horrible, horrible thing to do to your children. You should stop using your kids as a weapon against somebody to take their dad away.
I heard a quote that is like, when that situation happens, is they say in that case, the mother's hate for the father is greater than the love for her kids.
I 100% agree with that. And I think if you're keeping your kids from their dad, and
we're talking about good dads. We're not talking about
abusive dads or kids that are unsafe with their dad.
Correct.
Yeah, because there's those guys too. And obviously moms are trying to protect their kids from those kind of situations.
Correct.
But if you're just using your kids as a pawn in a game because you want to try to hurt him for whatever he did to you, this is a bad game to be playing.
Right. You're not, at that point, you're not putting what's the best interest for the child first. You're putting your interest first.
Right.
And that's why that statement it's deep and it rings so true. It's like, your hate for the other parent is greater than the love for your kids.
Yeah.
And that says a lot.
It does. What's the statistics of raising kids without a dad?
There's a lot of statistics. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers, but I know you're putting your kids at the worst statistical disadvantage, wanting to be a single mom. Not wanting, being in that situation where
Clearly,
it's a single mom.
70 to 90% of women are choosing it.
True story. But yeah, by choosing that, by wanting to be a single mom, you're putting your kids in the worst statistical disadvantage possible. They say that, I don't know who they is, I'll have to look. Obviously the best possible situation is having mom and dad, good parents, in the house, both at the same time raising the kids. Without either, I feel like moms and dads are equally as important in the kid's life. I also believe that when the kids are younger, that the mom's role is a little bit more important. And as the kids get older, that dynamic shifts and the dad's a little bit more important because moms are that nurturing, caregiving, soft, tender kind of type. And dads are a little harder and teaching them discipline and responsibility and getting them ready for the cold world out there, you know?
Yeah, I think if there's a possibility that they have, even if you have to get divorced, you're better off having a dad involved
50-50.
and a mom.
50-50 is the best. If it comes down to divorce, the optimal situation is 50-50.
And obviously, somebody in my position, like I don't have that option because he pieced out.
Ouch.
But I'm saying I'm representative, and like this was like a really painful conversation that I had with Pete at one point. I think it was one of the nights that I cried.
Yeah, I apologize for making you cry.
Just like talking about the statistics of what it's like when kids grow up without a dad. And
Well, yeah, a lot of the people in prison, a lot of the people that are basically the lower half of the population that does all the bad things, the majority of them come from single mother homes, is what the statistics say.
yeah. And I did look into that, and it appears that is the case. And that hurt my heart a lot because I don't want that for my kids. But also, like, I think there's a lot of things that you can do to have successful kids raised by single moms.
There are always exceptions to everything, but the overwhelming majority is, it's just the worst possible situation as far as raising kids is single mother.
Yeah.
And that's another thing sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, that I wanted to say is, as far as raising kids, and you're going to love this one. So a lot of women complain about men, and I hear all the time, men ain't shit, we don't need men, where are the good men at, this and that. And who raised all these men? The statistics say single moms did. So in actuality, women are complaining about men or guys, adult males, that are raised by women. Just something to think about.
Yeah. I mean, it is something to look at. We'll have to, look a little inward on that one.
Don't come at me, please.
Oh, it's coming.
I know.
This episode is...
I didn't want to do this one.
Yeah, he did. So what about your feelings about child support laws changing? Did we cover that enough for what you wanted to say?
I think so. I would like them to be, I'd like all these people that want equality to fight for equality in family court laws and stuff like that as well. But yeah, I think that's all I want to say because I don't want to get in more trouble.
Everyone keeps saying that he's holding back.
Because I am.
Including me.
Yeah, I've heard it a few times today.
There's one thing, if you know Pete in person, you always know where you stand with him, man. He does not hold back.
I'm straight shooter. I'm pretty honest. You know where you stand with me, yeah. And it's a double-edged sword, though. It gets me in trouble. You always know how I feel about you.
That's right. Well, I think the point of all of this is that, as we started in our last episode, that the grass is not greener over here on the divorce side.
No.
It's not all fun and games and hot dates. It's real scary.
It is. And I feel like people are keeping others around them single as well because they want to have that friend. And if their friend finds a partner, that's going to be less time that they are going to have with them. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I know plenty of women who are super happy with their divorce, that they are much happier being gone. I know men that are super happy too. They're like, I'm so happy to be done with that, and I'm never doing it again. Yeah, we're not exactly fans of getting married again, but
No. I also have, I did think of one other thing to mention about the child support thing and stuff. And this is going to be very popular. Is I feel like if you need financial help to raise a kid, then you should probably give them to the other side. What do you think about that? I said this actually while I was with my oldest kid's mom in court. I was like, if you just give the kids to me, I don't need anything from her, not a dime. I don't need any money. That's fine. She can see him whenever she wants. I'm not going to keep him away from her. But if I get the majority of the time, I don't need any help. But that's just another little opinion.
but should you take their mom away too?
No, I would just still do 50-50. But I don't think anyone
That's what you were fighting for 50?
and I couldn't even get it. I spent over $30,000 in 2 years trying to get more than, what was it? What, I don't know what it comes down to. I think it's like 80, somewhere around 85% on every other weekend. Maybe it was closer to 80% because I got them a little more during the summer. Yeah, the family court laws, it didn't help. So it's still, spending that money and all that time didn't help get me any more time. Yeah.
No, I had an amicable divorce and I would have never, ever, ever kept my kids from him. He was such a good dad.
What?
Yeah.
You loved your kids?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I also loved my ex-husband as a father.
Well, so
He's
you...
the father of my kids. He
Right.
was a great, great dad, and I never, ever, ever wanted to take that from them.
You're probably the exception then, because there are a lot of females out there that when they get hurt and get a divorce, that they just want to hurt the other parent is just as bad, even if it means using the kids against them and not putting the best interest of the kids first.
Yeah, I would have never done that. Even though I was
Good
hurt.
for you.
I was hurt. Bad.
For very good reason. You
But-
said he cheated.
Did. He did indeed.
So yeah, for a very good reason. But that says a lot about the type of person you are and your character. If you could be the bigger person and actually put your kids first above yourself. Wow. It's impressive. No, I'm actually saying that. I'm being sincere about that.
Oh my gosh, he's being nice to me. Oh, well, thank you.
No, that's a really good quality you don't see a lot in people, to be able to put their kids' wants and needs above their own during divorce.
I think a lot of women think they're putting their kids.
Oh yeah, because they think the kids are better with them when
Right.
the statistics tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
It's definitely not the case.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue. And I think if you don't have kids and you want to get divorced, fine, do whatever you want. I don't think that we take commitment very serious.
No, I 100% agree with you. I think a lot of people consider marriage the same as dating, 50 years ago. That, well, I'm going to try this marriage out, and if it doesn't work, I'll just get divorced. It's like, that's a terrible way to think about it. You should be going into it thinking that this is going to be the biggest decision of my life. I need to make sure that it is the 100% the right person. And you should be going into it looking like this is going to be forever.
Yeah. So probably not the best to get married when you're like 19 to 21.
I told you at the beginning, I am not.
I was there too. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no.
Like, we were young.
I made a lot of bad decisions. I own those. Yeah. I made a bad decision. I got married young, way too young. I shouldn't have got married till I was at least near 30.
But aren't you glad we had our kids when we were young?
Yes, they're self-sufficient or adults now, and you don't have to do much. I would hate having to go have like a 2-year-old right now.
Dude, I see people our age with toddlers, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Good luck to you out there if that's you.
Well, I don't know if I told you this, I was in Texas month and a half ago or so. I was at this real estate conference, and the instructor, I think she said she was about 50. Very good looking young lady. And she said she had a 5-year-old. And I was like, Oh my goodness. I could not even imagine at 45 or 46 having a child.
Eh,
Right. I mean, you're going to be 60 and they're going to still be in high school. Barely getting to high school.
eh, no, thank you. I get that question a lot on dating apps. Like, do you want to have kids? No, I'm 50 years old this year. Like, I'm not having a baby.
I get similar stuff, but females are 39, 40, 41, where you're already way into that geriatric pregnancy zone. And they're like, I want to have a family. If that's not for you, swipe left. I don't got much time. I'm like, you should have thought about that 20 years ago. But yeah, I was like, ooh, that's a definite swipe left.
No, thank you. Good with my kids being adults now.
I don't want to start over.
No, I don't. Really quick, touching on that subject. How do you feel about dating someone that has younger kids?
It's not for me. And it's a double-edged sword for me because I want to date somebody younger than me. That means I like, around 5-ish years younger than me, maybe 7, but then that means that they're going to have their kids are going to be younger than my kids the majority of the time. And so I can deal with if you got, 10 and up, but if you got toddlers, you're 39 and you have like a 2-year-old, that's not for me. And I love kids. Kids love me. I love kids. I just don't want to have one to take care of.
Yeah.
What about you?
Why is it important to you to date someone younger? I'm just curious.
Okay.
That was very specific. You're like 5 to 7 years.
Well,
I'm like, oh
because women don't come for me.
boy.
Because a lot of times women my age look like they're 10 years older than me. I don't know what it is, and I'm not saying every one of them, but a lot of them look older than they are. I don't know if that's the sun. I don't know if it's makeup. I don't know what it is. Just women don't age well, but yeah, I like them a little bit younger.
So that they look younger.
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
And what about you? I'm talking about little kids, guys with little kids, because guys can have kids and it doesn't matter. I mean, a 50-year-old can have a 2-year-old. So about you dating a man with younger kids.
So I would have to have more information about it. One of which is like, do the kids have a mom? Right. Because there's people out there like that their wives died of cancer or something and they're like raising kids by themselves.
Well, okay, say somebody your age, 49, and they were dating a 39-year-old and it wasn't planned. And now, he has a 2-year-old, healthy, alive, and they co-parent very well. They're splitting 50-50, nothing bad. Do you want to date that guy?
I really don't want to date anyone with little kids.
Okay.
But it's not a deal breaker for me. Like if it was somebody that was like, I was matching up in all the ways and like, would I be willing? Yes.
You say that with disgust or disdain on your face.
I just don't want to take care of little kids anymore. I had so many.
So that's a no.
tired.
But what I'm hearing is that's a no. You don't want to date a guy with little kids.
I really don't want to.
Okay.
I really don't want to. But it's not I wouldn't swipe left because of it.
Okay. What about age preference on the type of man that you want to date?
I mean, I'm anywhere from like 35 to 55.
35?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean,
Those guys love me.
Yeah, on the dating app, I usually put my age range from 36 to 44, somewhere around there. But yeah, I don't want to actually go higher than I am in age. Yeah, and it's counterintuitive as well because I'm limiting my options. So I'm basically, I told you, I'm shooting myself in the foot. So
Yeah, you are.
yeah, cutting down on my options, and then just every little thing else you want. No little kids, all right? You're cutting down your less options.
I do get 60 somethings. Well, when I was online dating.
How old was this gentleman that was, tonguing you the other day? Okay, well,
52.
50. Okay, you said he looked
He
like.
did not look
okay.
52.
So you think he was stretching the truth?
No, I think he was 52.
He was just rolled hard and put away wet.
Yes.
Had a rough life. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
But I get 60 somethings like, and I'm like, dude, my mom is 72. Like, don't want to date someone the age of my mom.
You have a young mom.
Yeah.
I have a young mom as well, too. My mom is 60. Oh, I'm not better not to say this, but she's in her 60s. She was done having kids in her early 20s.
Yeah, me too.
Me too, until the surprise came along.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Not done.
No, let's start over. Why not?
Start over. Well, good. Well, hopefully this topic wasn't too heavy today. What? You did good.
I'm a really nice guy. I just have opinions that don't sit well with some
He's
people.
very passionate about this, and he's very passionate about defending men.
I am a big advocate and supporter of men, and a lot of it is because I hear so many women bashing men and bashing good men, and it's just men get killed for standing up for themselves or saying what they feel. I'm gonna get killed. Don't come for me. Don't come at me, please. I am a really nice guy. I swear.
He is. I'll vouch for that. Obviously, I wouldn't be here.
True story.
But well, hopefully we didn't go too dark on you today. But
Right.
we
But didn't you say it when you approached me with this idea that I was the only person that you could do this with because of the type of person I was? It was open-minded. I don't even know when the last time I was upset. I don't get upset. Yeah.
upset as in you make me cry?
I wasn't upset.
You're right, you weren't.
I wasn't upset. I felt bad afterwards. I mean, I must have apologized 100 times.
It's fine. I'm also a woman. I'm super sensitive. And some of this is still raw for me. So I try my best. But
I don't know if this is going to make you feel better. You're not the only person that I've made cry. Because,
not surprising.
well, facts don't care about your feelings. They don't.
Okay, well, on that note, try to open up your heart and mind this week and find somebody to chat with. Find something new. Find somebody in a Lowe's and get their number.
Step out of your comfort zone. Yeah. I mean, let's offer that challenge to everybody. And if,
Yeah, go do it.
Yeah, and if you did, comment and say what you did and where it was. So hopefully it'll help somebody else out.
Yes, we would love to hear from you.
I gotta go get a number? Really don't want to. Okay. Yeah, always remember facts don't care about your feelings.
Bye.